One more. One more. Beautiful. Good. That's what we got to bring him on to. Nobody can take that.
Had to wear the Kronk merch. Shout out Kronk. So first session is strength. We're basically going to be doing some explosive weights. High intensity, short amount of time. We're working on our sprint systems.
If I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the f is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute.
Anthony Joshua trains with calm focus, sharpening his strength, movement, and discipline ahead of his highly anticipated fight with Jake Paul. His sessions show the confidence of a seasoned champion preparing for a serious test. Meanwhile, Jake Paul also trains intensely, determined to prove he can stand toe-to-toe with an elite-level fighter. Their dedication and contrasting backgrounds build excitement and curiosity about how this unusual and much-talked-about matchup will unfold in the ring.
One thing I knew, he was a hard worker. Second thing I knew, genetically he's very gifted, but I knew after the evaluation we had some work to do. Now I've seen his body already evolve into something totally different. I've seen his conditioning evolve into something different, and more importantly, his understanding of his body and why he's doing things the way he's doing them. That's the most important evolution that I've seen.
Anthony Joshua trains with full confidence in camp, aware he holds a clear advantage over Jake Paul. Still, he pushes hard daily, determined to prove a point. His mission is straightforward: enter the ring, dominate convincingly, and silence the noise, hype, and bold claims coming from Paul once and for all.
Timing on it, that's all that matters.
Because early on, if you look for power, you waste energy, then that power evaporates. When they're tired, you ain't got the power to take them out, so you've got to open up in the gap for no reason. So just relax, flow.
Just pop off
Good
that
feet,
region.
you were saying.
Just pop off that region. Anytime you move, that should be that, that should be that, yeah? And then the controls down the middle, all right?
Yeah, yeah. That's what
Control,
yeah.
smooth, relax, relax, relax. Last minute, mate, that'll do you then. Uppercut. Good. Right hand. Good. 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 Left hook high. Good. Uppercut high. And again.
Eddie Hearn explains that the financial offer presented to Anthony Joshua is far too substantial to ignore, especially at this stage of Joshua's career. Having already accomplished nearly everything a heavyweight can, Joshua is no longer motivated only by legacy. Instead, taking a highly paid matchup becomes a strategic and calculated choice rather than a desperate one. Hearn emphasizes that boxing has always been about prize fighting, earning as well as competing. When a fighter is offered a massive payday for a contest he is confident he can handle without taking excessive or unnecessary risks, accepting the opportunity becomes the smart and practical move. He stresses that Joshua is not doing anything unusual, unethical, or wrong. He is simply making a sensible decision based on timing, preparation, and career direction. According to Hearn, no fighter would realistically turn down easy money when it fits perfectly within training schedules and career goals. Jake Paul offering such a huge purse opened a door Joshua is naturally walking through, because boxing is also business.
By the ring by Mike Coppinger, that one's in the works and looking likely for December. What can you tell me?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, there has been conversations, obviously. I think it comes down to how true, they are. Jake Paul is that he actually wants to fight. I mean, he's a madman if he wants to fight. But for some reason, and he thinks he can beat AJ. And I have to be honest, we were going to have a run out in December, over 8 rounds against a bloke you've never heard of. And we may end up having a run out against Jake Paul for a career high payday. I don't see how we can turn it down.
When I asked you about it a couple of days ago, you said that at that time you never really got into the financials. Have those been discussed now? Have you discussed the financial element?
There has been some conversations around that, and it is, it's a huge amount of money. And I think AJ would be mad if he didn't do it, and I think he will do it if Jake Paul is genuine. We may wake up tomorrow with these people and they've announced another fight. Honestly, anything could happen. So I still can't get my head around the fact that this guy wants to challenge AJ. Listen, respect to him if it's true, but we shall see.
To end on that note, I spoke to Alfie Sharman earlier. He said that himself or DAZN have had no conversations about AJ potentially taking that fight. Obviously, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. What's the situation with regards to that? Because I know
apparently the fight's done. Obviously, it's not done because those conversations have to take place. I'm very confident that I can have some positive conversations with DAZN. Obviously, we'll be on a clock, but it's a 50-50.
last one from me. I saw Chris McKenna tweeted that Anthony Joshua currently doesn't have a British Boxing Board of Control licence. Obviously, it's not unusual for someone who isn't fighting currently and is inactive to let it run out. But he would have to apply for one to face Jake Paul again, and then they'd have to approve a fight. Do you think that'd be a similar?
Experts point out that Anthony Joshua's record already includes battles with some of the most dangerous and accomplished heavyweights of this era. Despite a 14-month break from the ring, they believe the experience gap between him and Jake Paul is still massive. Joshua has spent years competing against world champions, knockout specialists, and elite athletes who pushed him in ways social media-driven fighters have never had to face. While inactivity can affect any boxer, analysts maintain that Joshua's fundamentals, power, reach, conditioning, and ring intelligence give him a decisive advantage over a fighter still learning the sport. They also note that Joshua's previous losses do not diminish his standing here, because the level of competition he faced is far beyond anything Paul has encountered. Overall, experts feel Joshua's skill set, even after time away, should be more than enough to control the fight and dominate at will.
I'm wrong, right? And just to clarify, I don't class Otto Wallin as a very competitive fight. Every competitive fight that AJ is in from now until the end of his career and has been in for the last few years, I believe has taken something out of him. Every time he's in a competitive fight, even when he's won, and I'm not saying taken out of him to the extent where he's no longer a good fighter, no longer can do anything, but every single one has taken one out of him. So let's say, for example, you go down the Tony Yoka route and you can sell it as the 2 Olympic gold medalists and whatever. It's a lose-lose, mate. You're expected to knock him out. If you don't, then you go the distance. I think that's going to take something out of you. I actually think that this could be better prep for a Tyson Fury fight. Not just
mentally as well, because he smokes him and it looks great, and then he's confident.
This is what I'm saying, right? Not just from a stylistic boxing standpoint, but from the mental standpoint of the fact that if you go in there and you smoke Jake Paul, straight away, all of a sudden, it's headline news, it's massive, and as well as that, you're coming in off the back of something that's impressive, right? We all felt like the Francis Ngannou performance was really impressive, but it wasn't followed up with an impressive performance. So it doesn't actually determine whether or not...
This is worse. This is worse than that. I don't know what you're thinking, Lawrence, but the Ngannou one, you could at least say heavyweight. You could say that his pedigree. So we didn't really...
On the distance
while
of
he
Fury.
was coming from a different kind of method of fighting, end of the day, he's still a champion. We're talking about Jake Paul, guys.
Do you know what's mad? Can I just add something in before Loza jumps in? There are Americans, and I've heard them in the last 24 hours, giving Jake Paul a better chance than Francis Ngannou, saying he has the boxing experience. Francis Ngannou didn't have enough boxing experience. Because that's how Americans view this whole thing.
Well, no, Francis Ngannou did have more boxing experience than Jake Paul.
Well, yeah. But that's what they're saying is like, Francis Ngannou had 1 fight, Jake Paul's had like 10, 12.
10 rounds, and you little say I'm licking his ass. 10 rounds of Tyson Fury, will gain you more experience than everything Jake Paul.
Adam Catterall strongly criticizes the decision to sanction this matchup as an official fight instead of an exhibition. He argues that making it a full competitive bout puts Jake Paul in real danger because Anthony Joshua's natural power is at a completely different level from anything Paul has faced before. Catterall explains that exhibitions allow safer conditions and controlled pacing, but a sanctioned fight removes those protections entirely. He worries that Paul may not fully understand the seriousness of taking punches from a true heavyweight with Joshua's size, strength, and experience. Catterall questions whether entertainment value should ever come before a fighter's safety and believes this matchup edges into unsafe territory. While fans may enjoy the spectacle, he warns that stepping into the ring with a former world champion under official rules is a world far removed from YouTube beginnings or lower-level celebrity bouts.
Over a year.
Yeah.
Brutal knockout against Dubois.
Yeah.
Not the same AJ maybe of the past. He's 36. He's got a chance to earn £70 million, maybe to add to the 150 he's already got. Why wouldn't he do it? Because why would he want to maybe for 5 or 10 million fight a Fabio Wardley who's dangerous, Itoma who's dangerous? Surely from an AJ point of view, it makes sense.
Makes sense. From any fighter's point of view, it makes sense because you're in... Listen, belts don't pay your mortgage, do they? And I know he's got a lot of dough anyway, but 70 million... If someone's going to throw you 70 million quid to fight a lad that struggled and lost to Tommy Fury, you're going to take it, aren't you?
Yep.
So from AJ's point of view, yeah, I completely get that. From Jake Paul's point of view, you're leveraging your audience in the world of boxing and making a ton of cash fighting the former 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. Mate, most boxing fans would bite your hand off at that opportunity, especially if you're throwing 70 million quid in the pot as well. I've no problem with the promoters. My problem is that it can't be a legitimate fight. Let's be dead honest about this, right?
Eddie Hearn said it will be.
Listen, there is no commission on the planet that can authorise that fight. It's a 2-time unified heavyweight world champion, still in his athletic prime. You just said he's 36. We're not talking Mike Tyson age of 50 odd here now, are we? Olympic gold medalist. He's had 13 world title fights as AJ. 13 of them. Against the very best guys.
And could take his head off.
It is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely dangerous. Like I've just said, Jake Paul struggled with Tommy Fury. The levels between these two guys are ridiculous. The commissions cannot sanction that as a legitimate fight. There has to be a rule change. It has to be an exhibition. And then you can have a little bit of a move.
Hold on, Gab. Let's go back to proper boxing. I'm with Cats here. You know, this is a
big story, though.
Oh, listen, it's because it's AJ, because it's Jake Paul. It's going to do numbers and capture people's eyes, right? But there's no.
Experts note that many boxing fans have waited years to see Anthony Joshua finally face Tyson Fury, a matchup heavily discussed and teased but never finalized. Instead, Joshua choosing to fight Jake Paul has left some supporters confused. Analysts explain that the Fury fight has repeatedly stalled due to boxing politics, contract complications, scheduling issues, and timing, making it extremely difficult to secure. In contrast, the Jake Paul bout was quick to arrange and came with immediate financial benefits, making it a practical business decision for Joshua at this stage of his career. They acknowledge that fans may feel disappointed, but they also point out that fighters must navigate a sport where business realities often shape direction more than public desire. While the Fury fight remains the dream clash, Joshua is taking the opportunity that makes sense right now. Cazorla emphasizes the significant danger Paul faces, stating that once Joshua lands a clean heavyweight shot, the contest could end swiftly. He believes Paul has never experienced power on that level, making the likely outcome clear. His comments serve as both a realistic warning and a reminder that boxing is inherently risky, especially when the size, strength, and experience gap is this vast.
See Joshua's next fight in the coming days, and now it looks very much like it's going to be Jake Paul, the controversial figure. Whatever you think about him, he makes a lot of money, huge views, sells fights, but he was supposed to fight Gervonta Davis. That is not happening, and now he's potentially facing one of the biggest names in heavyweight boxing. Whenever you mention the name Anthony Joshua, people are interested, and of course the fight people still want to see is Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, and that's the dream fight which Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren and Turki Al-Sheikh are trying to make next year. But Eddie Hearn has said we need Anthony Joshua back in that ring. He's not been in the ring since losing to Daniel Dubois in devastating fashion at Wembley Stadium last year. But if he'd have said that time ago that his next fight would be Jake Paul, not a single person on this planet would believe me. But it does look like now that Anthony Joshua, the former world champion, is about to face Jake Paul in a month's time.
Mate, it's a great thing, so we can just shut that Jake Paul nonsense away. AJ's gonna knock him out.
Jake, would it be similar, do you think, to the way AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou? Because Eddie Hearn's just said about the rage maybe AJ has.
It'll be worse. It'll be worse. It'll be worse.
1 round?
1 round. But if he goes past 3 rounds, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If AJ goes in there trying to mess around, trying to show his boxing skills, nah. He's gonna go in there and light him out. That's what we want.
Yeah. I mean, is it something you'd love to see as well? I know. I mean, you've known AJ for a while.
We're all gonna be tuning in to watch it. That is it. There's nothing else. December, before Christmas.
Tommy Fury reacts by comparing his own fight with Jake Paul to the level of challenge Anthony Joshua brings. Fury explains that if he was able to defeat Paul, then Joshua, who is far stronger, more experienced, and vastly more accomplished, should have no difficulty at all. He says the matchup is not just about skill comparison, but about the major difference in levels within the sport. According to Fury, Paul is entering territory he is simply not prepared for, and Joshua's physical size and presence alone will cause problems from the opening moments. Fury expresses strong confidence in Joshua's ability to dominate, noting that facing Paul gave him first-hand insight into Paul's strengths and weaknesses. Based on that experience, he believes Joshua would handle him with ease. He adds that Joshua's power, technique, and foundation operate on a completely different scale, leaving no realistic scenario where Paul can compete for long without being overwhelmed.
Can beat Jake Paul. And excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So...
Allen doubles down on his concerns, arguing that Jake Paul cannot approach this fight lightly. He warns that Anthony Joshua's timing, strength, and elite-level power could change the fight in an instant. Allen believes Paul may not be prepared for the intensity a true heavyweight brings, and once Joshua applies pressure, the bout could shift rapidly, exposing the serious physical risks of such a mismatch.
Paul lost to Tommy Fury. Anthony Joshua cannot box Jake Paul. Horrific. He's dangerous for one, and two, if Jake Paul even lands a glove on him, it just diminishes everything that he's achieved. Jake Paul won't last 2 minutes for me. Never mind Anthony Joshua. It's ridiculous. It's a joke.
If AJ does say yes to going in against Jake Paul, does he harm his legacy?
I would lose a bit of respect for him. I think a lot of boxing people would as well, to be honest. Why would he box him? Two-time heavyweight champion of the world, one of the best heavyweights the last 20 years, held British boxing on his back. People might say he deserves to watch Jake Paul. But why though? Why would he do it?
Did you lose respect from when he fought Ngannou? Did you lose respect from Fury when he fought Ngannou?
Ngannou's a serious fighting man. World champion of the mixed martial arts.
It's a worrying thing, potentially, the damage that AJ could do to Jake Paul.
He'll hurt him. Yeah, Jake Paul is a cruiserweight. You wouldn't put the Midlands area cruiserweight champion in with Anthony Joshua, so why would you put Jake Paul in there? Just because he's a superstar, whatever. I don't know what he does. What does he do? What is he?
A YouTuber.
It's just not worth it. He's got enough money as it is. Why risk all that for a few more quid? I don't like it. I hope it...
David Hay talks about boxing's unpredictable nature, reminding fans that even though Anthony Joshua is the clear favorite, anything can happen once the first bell rings. He acknowledges that Jake Paul is stepping into real danger but stresses that fighters should never underestimate an opponent, no matter the experience gap. Hay says Joshua must stay focused and avoid assuming the fight will be effortless, as surprises are always possible in the ring. He adds that while Joshua is older now, he remains physically powerful, technically sharp, and far from the decline seen in some aging fighters. Because of that, Joshua still has the tools to cause serious problems for Paul. Hay believes that if Joshua remains disciplined and sticks to his strengths, the fight will quickly show the difference between a seasoned heavyweight and a developing crossover boxer.
Really close, and then it was Jake and Tank, and now that's off for other reasons. Your initial reaction to the fact that December Miami might be on?
Yeah, jumping from Gervonta Davis all the way up to Anthony Joshua seems absurd. It doesn't seem like it's a reality.
Seems very Jake Paul.
It seems, but you know, sometimes these crazy things. Who would have ever thought Francis Ngannou would get a shot against Tyson Fury? When we first started talking about it, it's like, that's never going to happen. And when it did, we saw Tyson Fury have a very, very tough night, get knocked down and scrape through on points. Anything's possible in boxing. I think the chances of Jake Paul beating Anthony Joshua, I don't know, he's got a very, very low chance. I can't see any way that Jake Paul can win a boxing match with 10, 12-ounce gloves on with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, you know, world champion, silver medalist, Olympic gold medalist, two-time heavyweight champion. He's a top 10, top 5 in some people's arguments, heavyweight, and he hasn't gone that far over the hill. He's not Mike Tyson, nearly 60 years old. I can't see it happening, but if it can happen and AJ wants it, then obviously it's going to be a massive, massive payday as well as a massive spectacle. It would be an absolute crush box office numbers, and unfortunately for Jake, that will be potentially his last fight in boxing if that first bell rings.
I know your friend Derek had a few things to say about it last night, and he said AJ's got 3 rounds, and that's not that if it goes past 3, AJ's going to lose, but if it goes past 3, his quote was, people are going to go. you do.
It depends how
can't go past 3.
It depends how he goes past 3 rounds. He could go out there and play with him and soften him up and make him look silly, or he could go out there, try and knock him out in the first round.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.